I still remember the day they told me I was wasting my life. It was more than a comment. It was a declaration. My family, proud of their traditional values and conventional success, looked at me like I had lost my mind. They called my ideas primitive, dangerous, and worse, an embarrassment. I was just a young woman then, full of dreams about urban jungles and wild foods, but to them, I was a fool, chasing shadows. They scoffed when I proposed sustainable urban foraging, collecting wild edible plants in city parks and abandoned lots to promote biodiversity and self-sufficiency. "That's not real science," my father snapped. "You're wasting your time with fairy tales. Nature isn't some playground for amateurs." My mother shook her head, eyes filled with worry and disappointment. "You're gonna get hurt or get arrested. It isn't how you build a future." And so I was dismissed, mocked, and belittled. I fought to prove them wrong, but I also fought to prove myself. I poured every ounce of passion into my work, risking everything, not just my reputation, but my safety and my sanity. I faced ridicule from peers, threats from city officials, and doubts from every corner of my life. But I refused to give up. I knew in my bones that this was my purpose. Years passed, and I dedicated myself to transforming neglected urban landscapes into thriving ecosystems. I studied tirelessly, learned from failed attempts, and slowly my methods gained recognition. What started as a fringe idea became a movement. Urban foraging became a way for cities to reconnect with nature, to breathe life into concrete jungles. I published papers, led community workshops, and built partnerships with environmental organizations. And through relentless perseverance, I proved that sustainable foraging wasn't primitive or dangerous. It was revolutionary. Then came the moment that changed everything. I was invited back to my hometown for a city-wide event celebrating green initiatives. I stood on the stage, looking out at a sea of familiar faces, some skeptics, some supporters, and many who had dismissed me years ago. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their gaze and my journey. After the speeches, I led a tour through a once barren lot, now reborn. Trees towered where concrete once cracked, edible plants flourished in the sunlight, and pollinators buzzed happily amid the lush greenery. I showed them the fruits of my labor, literally, and explained how this ecosystem thrived because of careful, sustainable harvesting. It was a testament to resilience, patience, and unwavering belief. Then I turned toward my family. My father, now visibly older, eyes wide with disbelief. My mother, mouth slightly open, struggling to process what she saw. They had come expecting to see a failed dream, a misguided woman who had wasted her life chasing illusions. But what they saw was a living, breathing testament to hope and persistence. I stepped closer and looked them in the eyes. "This," I said softly, "is what your doubts almost cost me. But I didn't let your words define me, despite the ridicule, despite the fear. And I did it not just for myself, but for this community, for the earth beneath our feet, and for everyone who's ever been told they're too small or too weird to matter." The silence was deafening. My father's jaw tightened, then softened. My mother's eyes glistened with tears, and I saw the reflection of my journey in their gaze, an arc of pain, doubt, and eventual understanding. In that moment, I realized the true power of perseverance. The world often dismisses what's different, what's risky, what challenges the status quo. But those very ideas, when nurtured with passion, become catalysts for change. I learned that the greatest victory isn't just in proving others wrong, but in transforming their disbelief into respect, sometimes even admiration. Now, as I stand here, I see the profound truth. Our failures and dismissals are just chapter. They don't define the end. What truly matters is the courage to keep going, to believe in ourselves when no one else does, and to turn rejection into redemption. My family's faces, once filled with skepticism, now carry the silent acknowledgement of what I've become. And I hope, deep down, they understand that sometimes the most unlikely dreams are the ones worth fighting for. That resilience, rooted in authenticity, can turn barren wastelands into lush havens. Because in the end, I didn't just prove my critics wrong, I proved to myself that I was capable of transforming doubt into action, failure into triumph, and rejection into a legacy of hope. And that, I believe, is the greatest lesson of all. No matter how impossible the journey seems, persistence and faith in your purpose can turn even the most ridiculed dreams into the most beautiful realities. So, here's my message. Never let anyone tell you what's too foolish or too risky. Your dreams are your truth. Chase them fiercely, because the world needs more wild, brave spirits who refuse to be silenced. And when you finally stand tall and show the world what you've built on your own terms, that's when you truly win.